Placing our hands either in the prayer position or the soul light, soul service hand position. Dear Divine, our beloved Source Creator, to the soul of all the beloved beings of love and light, including my own heavens team, guides, angels, and saints, I love you, honor you, appreciate you. I ask you to please be present, to bless, assist today's Open Spiritual Channels program, week 2. Please bless today's wisdom and practices so that all of the clients and students and myself receive the highest knowledge, the greatest wisdom, and the greatest light. Please bless me to boost and develop my Kundalini and Snow Mountain area with today's practices. I am most grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So welcome everybody. So let's start with checking in with everybody. And I believe one or two people were not here last week. So I'll ask you towards the end if you had a chance to check up with the recording from last week. But Brad, how are you doing? Were you able to, since last week, do any practices with the lower Dantian?
I did a little bit. I didn't have a chance to do it like as much as I would have liked, but yeah, it's been good so far. Yeah, when I have done it.
Great. Connie, let's check in with you next.
Hi.
Hey.
You hear me?
Yes.
It's going good. I did it about 3 or 4 times, and I like it. I think it's helpful.
What are some of the things you notice?
More clarity, maybe more energy.
Yeah, energy is a natural side effect if you keep doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Most of us can use a little bit more of that. Some of us, we have some we can give away.
Yes.
Most
Thank
of us
you.
do. Great, thank you for sharing. Felix, were you here last week, Felix?
Yes, and so I do a foundation practice daily, and I added the practice with the sound Ju to the practice, and so I really feel there is 2 side effects. First, the energy increase a lot. The sound Ju is really related to a lot of light, like literally huge blasters that come into the lower abdomen. And secondly, my third eye and my communication channels, as every day when I practice, I say, dear my third eye and my communication channels and more, you have the power to open, do a great job. I think it's related, but I start to have different perceptions and more accurate. And people with third eye say me, yes, this was in the blessing. So it's great also to have people that can verify and acknowledge that your perception is right.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Felix. Amy Meadows, anything you wish to share?
I actually feel really good. I've been practicing, maybe not as long as your video, but every day some. And some of that could have to do with Master Peter's blessings on Saturday too, but I've got more physical work done in the last 2 days than probably in a month.
Good. I'm sure at least 50% is Master Peter's blessings.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
Okay, Michaela, were you here last week?
Okay, there. I was having a hard time unmuting myself. Yes, I was here last week. You know, I didn't really do any of my foundation, but today was the first day. I said, no, I need to get started with my foundation work. So I started doing, you know, clearing my soul houses, and I felt so energized today. So it makes a big difference. I do a lot of my other practices, but not really focus on, you know, on my foundation. But I know I got to clear the houses first, so I can feel much more energized and truly start using my Dow hands more for my clients. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing, Michaela. And Terry?
Yes, I do the foundation practices every day, several times, because I'm in the wellness program, and I also work out with a teacher in the morning for an hour, and we do practices out of the Tao Calligraphy Healing Field book.
Mm-hmm.
That's so powerful to have magic thought chanting for you.
Yeah, it makes a difference to chanting group. And, you know, so thank you, Terry. So one of the things that some of you may or may not be aware of, we have the wellness program, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. But we also do morning and evening practices, 9:30 a.m. and 9 p.m. respectively, on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that combination actually gives the students to sign up for that an opportunity to practice the practices that we do, the lower Dantian, next the Kundalini, the message center, and third eye practices. Those will be incorporated into the morning and evening, 9:30 a.m. and 9 p.m. practices moving forward. And that was done purposely because we didn't have a lot of extra time to create practices, but everybody needs the practice and need a consistent pattern through which they can attend those practices. And so by incorporating them, it allows Relena and myself to support you morning or evening or both. And at the same time, be sure you're in a group and in the field. And that's what's going to help you enhance your spiritual channels a lot more. So if you have the opportunity to, or you have a desire, if you signed up, for example, for the $95 program, the wellness program that I'm telling you about is normally $149, but for basically just $100 more, you get an entire month in the wellness field. There's like 12, 6, 4, 8, 4, 32. There's 54 classes, 54 practice sessions basically in 1 month that you could use. And as an example, you could come into the Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday meditation, Tai Chi, or even on the Thursday liquid and light massage, and you could ask specifically to open your spiritual channels, because each of the calligraphy classes are, you know, by choice. What do you want to do? And so you could say, you know, please bless my third eye to open. Please bless my spiritual channels to open more. And can you imagine that request in a liquid and light massage? My goodness, your channels would open up much, much faster. So if possible, and if that's something of interest, then let us know on TCP customer service, and then we can send you a link and just cover that difference. And then you can access, you know, 54 more practice possibilities in a month. That can make a substantial difference in your channels opening faster. Okay, let's check in with Karen.
Hello. I'm doing well. I haven't gotten to do the foundation practice as much as I would have liked. It's been a busy week with work, but the times that I have, I think it's really powerful, and I can definitely detect an increased energy and strength. So that's really exciting, and I think it's something that if I focus on more, I'll get a lot more benefit out of.
Yeah, I get a very strong yes on that observation, Karen, so I hope you do.
Thank you.
And Cass, Were you here last week, Cass?
Kind of.
Okay. So tell us if you practiced this week and what your observations are.
I did not do very much Dantian practices.
Okay. Okay, so I encourage you to try to make time for it. We have a lot of chat conversation, and I'm confident that this could assist you with quite a bit of things. So I hope you spend more time with it. And Amy Lum.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I've been in the wellness program as well the past few weeks, and this morning we did a dog long ming at the First Soul House, and it really got me kind of more attuned to that base chakra, where I felt more grounded. And so I think with this the foundation practice here with the First Soul House, I'm just practicing more to become more grounded. So I really appreciate that. I hope that made sense.
Well, yeah, working in the lower part of the body, that's great.
Okay.
And did you do anything specific for the lower Dantian practice?
Just, focusing down there and chanting. So like, hey, 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 and visualizing light.
Okay. So, certainly if that's working for you, continue. You don't want to do anything that's not working for you. And try to pay attention if you were to work with the lower Dantian, which is not a chakra, as we talked about last week. It's a different energy center and it serves a different function. And see if you can discern any differences. That's maybe you can, maybe you cannot. Maybe you'll find a value in one more than the other, or maybe you'll find a value in both. But consider it. Because in the next intermediate course, of course, we'll be talking about each chakra, including the first chakra. I'm going to go into great detail in the first chakra, and it is a significant energy center chakra. But each week, this course, this information is for everybody. This course is about opening the spiritual channels, and the main three energy centers of the five that we talk about are considered the foundation. And although I mentioned it last week, it's worth mentioning again that when the majority of the people today that are in Master Shah's organization that have been with them 10 plus years, they all grew up on the foundational energy centers. There was nothing else really that was being taught of the levels that we're seeing today. But it's also one of the reasons why they're the strongest master teachers, why they have the most open spiritual channels, is because they did these three foundations. So as we move today into the Kundalini and next week into the message center, do your best to make room or time to implement these, even though you may have other focuses and intentions. And I understand very much that it's hard to get them all in when you got so many things that are pulling your attention. I get that totally. This is specifically about opening the spiritual channels. And these three foundation, when I taught this course multiple times, one of the things that I learned and came across was students becoming a bit overwhelmed by which one do I practice first, or where do I put my attention, where do I put my focus. And so as I bring in these other energy centers and teach on them, what I want you to focus on is just one for the week. So this last week would have been lower Dantian. This week, starting today, I want you to focus on your Kundalini. The next week, I want you to focus on your message center. And when I get to the message center, I'm going to have you bring in all three of them and teach you how to do them all together. And in this way, you're empowering each one by one, and then you're learning to empower all three. Okay, and because I know it can become a lot when you have many things pulling at your time. So, okay, next is Elizabeth or Greg, whoever's behind that picture. You'll have to unmute yourself, Greg. Can't hear you.
Now I've found unmute, excuse me.
Okay.
Yes, I have been practicing very much on the lower Dantian. And in addition, the thing that is of tremendous significance for me this week was the massive blessing that I got from Master Peter. And my Dahashe just started vibrating for hours, literally. And so it has been quite an exceptional week for me, and knowing that the lower Dantian is indeed shifting around, and I look forward to this week's practice.
Wonderful. Great sharing. Yeah. Greg was one of the very blessed ones to receive a very high level blessing from Dr. Peter. So truly fabulous. Yeah, you're going to love next teachings. Thank you, Dr. Greg.
Thank you.
Okay, and so now we'll check in with those that I believe were not here last week. So we'll check in with Renata. Did you get a chance, Renata, to see the recording?
Yes, hello. I tried to go to the recording, but unfortunately the password did not work. So I did email to the customer service, and hopefully that will be cleared out. But I am doing a practice on regular basis of my soul houses and elements every day. And I'm also part of the wellness program. I just signed up a few days ago. So I'm doing my practices.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Renata. We'll make sure we get the password issue.
Thank you. And one more thing, Mr. Paul, it's 10:30 for me. So if you to call my name later on and I'm not answering, I probably fell asleep. I'm in Toronto.
Okay.
And then I'll listen to the recording.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For the password, I'm sorry, I think it will help you. For the password, look if there is not a space, because sometimes we copy and paste with a space, and I know this happened.
Okay.
So
Space between the letters?
I think it's just OSC.
Sometimes there might be a space at the beginning of the end of the password, and this makes the password wrong.
I see. Okay, thank you so much. I will do that.
Great, thank you, Renata. And then Jenny Sinclair.
Hi, I had the same problem, so I'm glad that you told me about the extra space. So I haven't listened to it, but also I was on vacation all of last week. But what I did do was I have a printout, you know, a 2-page printout from when I actually took the Dow Hands course, you know, starting last March last year. It's the one where we do the Shen Shi Jing, and it's the combination of the Kundalini and the lower Dantian. And so I've had that as a daily practice, you know, that I use other things too. I usually use the Tao calligraphy healing field thing. Let me, I usually use, you know, the Tao calligraphy healing field book. But on vacation, I always just carry that with me when I'm going you know, traveling. But so I actually didn't know what you were going to work on, but I guess I was kind of working on it in a different way probably than you were, but I got some of it in. And then also I was on the class this morning, the meditation this morning, but that's basically all I've had. And but I will listen tomorrow to the lesson from last week and incorporate that. So, but I'm really happy to be a part of the class.
Thank you, Jenny. Great to have you here. Okay. And welcome also to Dawn. Dawn, were you, I don't think you were here last year or last week, excuse me, or were you, Dawn?
No, I wasn't here.
Okay. And did you have the same issue with accessing the recordings?
I didn't have enough time before I knew the class was starting. So I got it the same day. And there was a little bit of a miscommunication because the number day was different than the name of the week. And so I wasn't sure which day. And by the time I got clarification, it was too late. I already had things planned for that night anyways, but.
Okay. So each class does have standalone information, but they also interconnect in that I refer to some pieces of information or wisdom that was shared. So when possible, watch that recording. And then also I did post the link and the password for the recordings. I just tried it, it worked fine, but maybe it was a miscommunication in the email. So I apologize if there was. So let's go ahead and move into today's class. So let me pull up the PowerPoint here, make it full size. Okay. Everybody can see that okay?
Yes.
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 So welcome to week 2 for the Kundalini Snow Mountain area in the Foundation to Open Spiritual Channels course. I'm going to do a quick review on last week. This is also one of the 3 foundational energy centers. Last week was the first one, which is the lower Dantian. And this image we'll use again today. And these bullet points show you where in the body approximately these major energy centers are. The lower Dantian, if you look at the image, you have the front facing and you have the side facing, and you can see by the side facing image that it is a little bit below the belly button area, approximately 1.5 inches, and it's approximately 2.5 inches inside the body. I say approximately because in last week's training, we talked about Sun. I'm not going to train on that again, but that can, for anybody new, you can learn what that difference is. We've also talked about the difference between an energy center and a chakra. So a chakra is an energy center, but it's also literally a chakra, whereas there are other energy centers that are not chakras. And the lower Dantian is not a chakra. It's a space in the body that holds significant energy. You also see in the image where the Kundalini is, what we're going to be talking about next. I'll come back to that image a little bit further down. As we go up this image, we see the what is referred to as the middle Dan, which is also the heart chakra, and we'll be teaching about that as the message center in the next class. And then Zhu Chao, which is the intelligence center. You'll be learning about that in week 4. What they refer to as the upper Dantian in this image is also often referred to as the third eye or 6th soul house. More teachings on that later. We touched on why is it important to build power in the lower Dantian, and how many cultures and many different forms of qi gathering is done through various cultures. All the martial arts work with it. The Tai Chi and Qigong, which are not martial arts, but are aspects of energy healing and energy gathering, energy practices, utilize lower Dantian, and so do the yogis of the East. We then went into what's the purpose, power, and significance of building the lower Dantian and forming a golden dawn. And all of our practices are to condense, gather, and build the dawn. And we talked about the necessity of building a bigger and bigger golden foundation, where eventually you want to create your entire light body, which is in essence what? A light ball. We also talked about its location, as I just mentioned, 1.5 sun down from the navel and 2.5 sun inside the body, that it's a fist-sized energy center. And we also mentioned its postnatal energy center. And for those that did not get a chance to watch the recording, you'll get a lot more details on what that means and its impact for your health and energy. We then went into the aspects of how the lower Dantian can bring healing to different parts of the body within that zone including healing of the large intestine, other organs in that zone, developing the stamina and vitality. It can absolutely assist with rejuvenation, which is getting younger, and losing weight. So all of these are natural side effects of working with the lower Dantian. And as you work with it more and more and more, what in essence you are doing is you are building a very weighted foundation. One of the things that is very important to understand, and there's a lot of people that you might yourself recognize some of these attributes in, and you might recognize these attributes in other people. They could be painful attributes though, wherein you or somebody else you know is emotionally imbalanced. You could be good for 2, 3, 4 days, and then you get knocked off your ground, or you find yourself overreacting to things you maybe should not be overreacting to, or you find yourself mentalizing things, paralysis through analysis, or maybe you find yourself unable to turn off your thinking cap. It's just on 24/7. So what are all these aspects of? They represent an imbalance in your energy body. If you look at the shape of a pyramid, it has a strong base and it has a peak. This is how your energy body should be built as well. That's when you see people meditate. What kind of position are they in? They're in a triangular position. Our energy body has the same structure. The vast majority of humanity are like this. So where is the weight? The weight's at the top. Where's the point? At the bottom. So if the head is busy, what's going to happen to that person's physical, emotional activity, right? They're always going to be wobbling. They're going to be out of balance. So how do you fix that? You put more emphasis on the foundation body. You put more emphasis on the foundational energy centers. You start bringing the chi, the life force energy, and the grounding. This is what is meant by grounding. You start bringing it back to your lower dantian. You start enhancing the foundation of your body. The side effects are what was mentioned in the first video. For those that came in, haven't seen it yet, there's a lot of benefits, 15, 20 bullet points of benefits other than opening your spiritual channels that you get when you practice these main energy centers that we're working with. One of the keys of bringing yourself back to a mental emotional state of balance is this specific practice. It will help you tremendously. Okay, and we'll go back to the slides now. So now, today, we're talking about the Kundalini. And the Kundalini is called that by the yogis. So it's more of an Indian, Eastern Indian name associated with their perspective on this specific energy center. The Chinese actually don't use the word Kundalini. Master Sha, when they started bringing up, well, is that the same as the Kundalini? He had to check with heaven because he wasn't even familiar with what the Kundalini was. And so he grew up knowing it as what's called the Snow Mountain area. And in his earliest teachings in the books, he's referred to it as the Snow Mountain area for probably the first 10 books. And so you're going to hear these words interchangeably. In other traditions, such as the Taoist tradition, they talk about it as the golden urn. Golden urn. So these are different names for the same energy center by different belief systems or different teachings or practices for boosting and building the energy. So where is it located at? The Kundalini Snow Mountain area. Now it's called an area for a reason. We'll get to that. But it's located, if you all touch your belly button and then you draw an invisible line straight back to that dip in your back. Well, you go straight back, but instead of going all the way to the dip in your back, you just go 2/3 of the way. And then you drop down approximately 2.5 tsun. Remember, that's about 2.5 inches. So for those that are new, this week, the tsun is the width of your thumb. So the wide point in your knuckle of your thumb, that's a tsun. and that's a Mandarin Chinese measurement. So about 2/3 of the way back, drop down about 2.5 Sun, and this is a fist-sized energy center. So again, hold up your fist. See how big your fist is. Now imagine that in your body, about 2/3 of the way back and towards the back. If you look again at this image, look at where it's at. It's behind center, isn't it? It's pretty close to the base of your tailbone. So the Kundalini area and the Kundalini Snow Mountain is actually a very large energy center. Now it's also what's called a foundational energy center. So we've been talking quite a bit about that, the lower Dantian, the Kundalini, and the heart chakra. Now, as you look at this image, you'll see that they form a little bit of a triangle. They start to build that base. The lower Dantian is pushed to the front, Kundalini is pushed towards the back, and you will learn about the first and second chakras. And these form part of the base of something called the zhong, the core of the body, which we're going to go into in just a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about the nature of the Kundalini Snow Mountain area. So it is a key energy center. And on page 308 of the Soul, Mind, Body Medicine book, you will learn many of these qualities. It is what's called a prenatal energy center. Prenatal means before birth. If you remember the lower Dantian, it is a postnatal energy center. What does postnatal mean? That means after birth, pre and post. So one of the energy centers, the lower Dantian, is after birth, meaning you have to put a lot of your own chi and effort into it to build it up. Whereas the prenatal energy centers come with built-in life force energy. Now, one of the aspects of the Kundalini that Master Shah received in his communication with heaven was that the Kundalini Snow Mountain area, visualize where it's at, and the heart chakra, visualize where it's at, they actually together represent the eye of the fish, of the yin and yang symbol, right? You know, the white fish with the black eye and the black fish with the white eye and the yin yang symbol. Well, heaven told him that these are two entry points. These are two gates. So they work with each other and help to balance each other. Again, validating why they are foundational energy centers, because if one is out of balance, it could negatively impact the other and vice versa. Okay, it's very important to understand some of the interconnectivity of these, some of the things that we see every day, the yin yang symbol, maybe not every day, but often enough to think of it as an everyday symbol. And yet, in the human body, where do you hear that wisdom? Where do you hear that kind of sacred wisdom where the Kundalini, Snow Mountain area, and the heart chakra are two sides of that fish, balancing aspects, right? So what does that mean? Prenatal energy center. It connects with the energy of your parents and of your ancestors, and it holds the essence of their energy. This is very important because in essence, when you are created, when the sperm and the egg connect, a soul is created just for you. And there's many, many more advanced teachings around the nature of the soul and Tao and so forth. But in terms of that connection, instantly, your whole family tree and the life force energy that runs through your family tree is connected to you at the soul at the moment of creation, where the egg and the sperm touch. And that essence stays with you your whole life. It is one of the reasons why literally that fetus grows, because of that prenatal energy. I read something when I just had my daughter Elise. I was reading something that said that that literally with the first couple of cells that are created, that infant, that child already has within it everything it needs to make another child. And that was astounding to me. A girl has everything she needs to make another baby within just a few cells being replicated. So it is pretty astounding, the human vessel. Now, another thing to keep in mind is the location of the Kundalini. It's not far, actually, from the kidneys. If you look at this dip in the back, okay, where are the kidneys? It's slightly above this dip in the back. You have left and right kidneys. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about the connectivity of the Kundalini area and how it expands out to what's called Ming Men. And the kidneys, why I'm tying this into Kundalini, the kidneys are the first organ that is formed. The kidneys are the first organ that is formed in the body. What's next? The spinal column starts forming. And so why are the kidneys so important? They're fed and nourished by your energy body. Remember, you are a soul first. What happens when the sperm and egg touch? Instantly, a soul is created from Creator. And that soul carries all the negative and all the positive information from all lifetime. And that negative and positive information has to animate you somehow. How does that negative and positive information animate you? How does it get to you? It animates you through your chakras. It animates you through your energy centers. It animates you through the meridians. So this life force energy starts animating you, and that is what creates the formation and the growth of these cells. What happens when you die? Do your cells keep animating? They dissipate back into earth. But your energy body, your soul, continues. So you start out as a soul and you continue as a soul, which is why your energy body, your chakras, and everything that we're working with are so very, very important on so many more levels than just opening your spiritual channels. And so when you start looking at the Kundalini, and everybody talks about, ooh, I want to open my Kundalini and the Kundalini fire and the Kundalini serpent and blah, 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 all this cute little verbiage, they really don't understand that it's so important for the beginning of life that it carries the prenatal, ancestral energy and information. And so when you start working with the Kundalini, and maybe you release the Kundalini fire if you haven't already, a lot of people, they don't do it correctly. They fall in under the wrong teachings. They hear the information, and maybe they hear correct information but do the practices wrong. That's happened. Maybe they did not build a solid enough foundation, and then when their Kundalini fire happens, their opening, their awakening, whatever name you want to call it, because they have not cleared their Shen Qi Jing blockages, they could have significant issues in the mental, emotional destabilization. And so that has not occurred at all. In all 20 plus years, Master Sha has been teaching this. Over literally, easily over 10,000 students doing these practices, learned it and doing it. Zero issues. Why? Because it's ancient wisdom that's been passed on in a safe manner. But so many students out there learn this the wrong way, or learn it in a way that they don't do it properly, and then they have problems. So it's very important to understand just how potent and relevant this energy center is. It is the key to the quality of a long life. Why? Because if you can clear blockages in your Kundalini, Snow Mountain area, what are you clearing blockages with? The essence energy of you and your ancestors. What's another way of saying that? We carry the positive and negative information. If we're holding negative information that comes to us instantly upon birth, we want to clear that, don't we? So if we do practices, then not only are we clearing that, but we're also feeding and nourishing our kidneys. When we feed and nourish our kidneys, what's the second thing that the body in the fetus, what is the second thing that starts being created? right off the kidneys, is the spinal column, spinal cord. Spinal cord, actually, the column comes later, it's the bones. So the spinal cord is literally the first thing. Where does the cord lead to? It leads to the brain. Well, what is feeding and nourishing the kidneys? The Kundalini Snow Mountain area. That's what's feeding and nourishing the kidneys. And so when you do the practice today, you'll hear me talk about, and I'll walk you through visualization and practice that a good half of you haven't seen before. And we'll walk you through how to bring boosting to the kidneys, spinal cord, spinal column, brain, and then into the third eye. One of the sacred teachings we won't put a lot of emphasis on today, but very relevant. If you want a powerful third eye, you need a powerful Kundalini. I'll state that in a different way. Some of you already have third eye. Some of you haven't and you don't know it or don't admit it, or you're not sure because you think that because I'm not seeing a moving picture like I watch at the TV, that it must not be third eye. Well, I got news for you. Third eye has many different ways of showing itself. Learn more in that week. The Kundalini is the way station, the power station. If it is weak and heaven is trying to send you messages in your third eye, messages won't get there. There's not enough power to sustain the message. There's not enough power to sustain the image. And for those that do have third eye, they can become drained actually pretty quickly if they do not have a strong Kundalini. There are quite a few people that have good and strong third eye, and they have headaches all the time. Why? They do not have a strong enough foundation. What's the shape of the pyramid? Where is the third eye? At the top or the bottom of that pyramid? You have to have a strong foundation. So the Kundalini is very, very important and has many attributes that many people are simply unaware of. And I have to admit, I was unaware of them as well until Master Sha taught them to us. So what does that mean? It's energy food. Well, again, if someone, you're working with someone, you have Dao hands, or you know somebody who has dementia or issues with memory, things of that nature, what would you do with that information? What would you do to offer suggestions to them? If you were a healer, what would you do to offer healing for them? You would recognize the flow of qi, that the kidneys feed and nourish the brain. Well, what feeds and nourishes the kidneys? Kundalini. So if you had the ability to serve that person, it makes sense to give them a blessing, sure, for their Alzheimer's or whatever that brain concern is, but it also makes sense to give them energy food by feeding and nourishing the kidneys and the Kundalini. So bullet 4, starting point of the 4 major meridians, Ren, Du, Dai, and Chang meridians. The Ren, Du, Dai, and Chang meridians, I haven't decided if I'm going to teach that or not in the workshop number 3. So workshop number 1 is the one you're in. Number 2 is the everything you never knew about the chakras. And we go into detail in each chakra. And then the Shen Qing Jing channels. That's workshop number 2. Workshop number 3 is the 4 major foundational, 4 major channels. 4 major channels. We'll talk more about that at the end of today. This is not channels. Ren, Du, Dai, and Chang are actually meridians, energy meridians. And in a previous course that I taught, I actually made it a 5-week course because I used one of the weeks just to teach these channels. But what a lot of people don't know is that these 4 major is a big word, major meridian channels, where your life force energy and meridians are much more related to moving the qi from your chakras and energy centers, moving the qi from your chakras and energy centers to your organs and systems. That's what meridians do. They have many functions, but that's one of the main ones. So there are 4 major meridians that run horizontally and vertically around the body. And so where do they start and end? Well, guess what? They start and end at the Kundalini. Who would have thought? Isn't that interesting? So these 4 meridians at the Kundalini, if you power up your Kundalini, what are you doing? You're sending heaven's healing life force chi to where? To the meridians that are going where? To your organs and your systems, feeding and nourishing them. This is a very, very important and powerful energy center. Now, the Kundalini Snow Mountain is in the Zhong. What is the Zhong? Zhong is a Mandarin Chinese word that means core. Okay, take a close look at this image. This image has 2 circles, Kungong, Huilu. You see something at the bottom called the Huiyin acupuncture point, and you see this arrow in the back of the body called the Mingmen acupuncture point. Look at the dot in front of the body where the navel, belly button would be. Okay, so if you drew an invisible line from your belly button straight back and you drop down 2/3 of the way, from 2/3 of the way, you drop down about 2.5 inches. What's there? Your Kundalini. What's also there? Your lower Dantian. But now you see a couple of other energy centers that you were unaware of. Huilu, Huiyin, Kungong, Mingmen. These are 4 sacred and secret energy centers that we will not be going into today. But it goes to show you just how much more information is available than we knew. Each one of these are very, very important, sacred and secret energy centers. And so when we empower the core, does it just stop if we just do the first soul house, or if we just do the second one, or if we just do the Kundalini? Does it just stop there? Or does it radiate out and positively impact the other energy centers? This is the understanding. This is why Master Sha gives one of the most sacred teachings, which is to bring your mind and your attention to the Mingmen acupuncture point. So I want to talk a little bit about that because the Kundalini Snow Mountain area is an area. Well, how big is the area? Well, it's as big as you expand your Kundalini to be. It's as big as the effort you put into your Snow Mountain. If you do that practice, then it grows and grows and grows. What was the practice we did last week? Same we're going to do this week. We're going to condense, we're going to gather, we're going to condense, we're going to gather. And when we condense and gather, it grows. That's why it's an area. Well, I want you to envision, we'll go back to an image here. I want you to envision the Kundalini here. Use the image on the right, the side view, and you see where the dip in the back is. So now imagine that little dot there, the navel straight back to that dip in the back. So the Kundalini Snow Mountain is about 2.5 inches below. So imagine the center of this, and then I want you to start spiraling outward, clockwise, spiral outward. From the center of the Snow Mountain area, start spiraling clockward, gentle spiral. And where does that spiral end? It ends, think right here, right at the Mingmen point, right there. That's where the Kundalini area spiral ends. When I was in, yeah, I'll tell you that story later. So the Mingmen point is an acupuncture point, yes, but is one of the most sacred energy centers in Master Sha's teaching. He taught quite a bit about it starting about 5 years ago, but until then, nobody even knew about it. And heaven taught him, this was after they revealed the yin yang information to him, that it's the Tao point. The gate of life is another word for it, the Tao point. It's so important that all 4 channels that are in the advanced course, the 4-week course at the end, at course number 3, all 4 channels, soul language channel, ends at the Mingmen point, begins or ends there. The soul communication channel starts at the Mingmen point. Third eye channel, Mingmen point. Direct knowing channel, Mingmen point. All of them would not be possible without the Mingmen point. It is the gate of life. So these 4 channels are in the advanced course. You want to open those 4 channels, trust me. And they all have an origination point. The Mingmen acupuncture point is part of what area? It's part of the Kundalini area. That's what it's part of. It's part of the Kundalini area. So what are you doing when you're boosting your Kundalini? You're activating and empowering your Mingmen acupuncture point, your gate of life, the point between heaven and Mother Earth. And the point that is the starting point of all 4 major soul communication channels. You think the Kundalini Snow Mountain area is important? I think so. So now when you look at this picture, you have a little more respect for the area itself and why there's so much emphasis by the yogis and all the people, oh, I want to open my Kundalini. I'll tell you about my Kundalini experience. Because you may or may not have opened yours. You might want to know what to expect. It's going to be a little bit different for everybody, but it'll give you a little bit of an idea. So what does it mean, first of all, when your Kundalini opens and you have Kundalini fire? In essence, it means that the channel that goes up the spine, up the spinal cord, to the back of the head and the brain, it means that that channel is opened, which means that before it was not as opened or has been blocked. For the most part, if you're in this class, that means that you have enough spiritual awakening and enough spiritual awareness that you have probably had third eye before. You've probably had a Kundalini awakening before. You have probably been a master teacher before. Probably definitely been a healer before. You may have been a bodhisattva before. If you're in this class, it's highly likely you have been on the spiritual journey before. This is very, 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 very likely. And we're in the process of remembering, getting us to the point where we left off, so then we can go beyond that point where we left off. That's the typical human experience. We try to catch up where we left off and then level up from there. Some of us can't figure that out and we just suffer through life. So the Kundalini fire, for me, I didn't know what it was. It literally took me about 5 years before I figured it out. So I had went to my very first retreat with Master Sha. I just went to a one-day thing and I saw him doing miracles. Oh, that's pretty interesting. And then I picked up one of his books and that's what interested me. I mean, this guy was, very vibrant on stage and creating miracles, but I needed soul food. And I picked up his books and I opened my heart. I was like, my God, this is the wisdom of all lifetimes. I like this guy already. I'm going to go to his enlightenment retreat, having no clue what an enlightenment retreat was and not even really believing in enlightenment, let alone understanding it. So I, took what little money I had and booked a week over in a very expensive hotel on the next island and went over there with very little in my account left over, but hopes to find a real master. And during that week, I witnessed many, 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 many things, just so much to open my heart and open my mind. And I was blessed, very beyond blessed, to have somebody from the retreat who did not know me, blessed me with huge financial blessings, which allowed me to receive a significant amount of blessings that I would not have been able to acquire otherwise. Just no way. And when I say huge blessings, like new car level of blessings, financially speaking. And I didn't even know this person. Fortunately, I'm still friends with this person today. He's a very high level master teacher. Long story short, I received a lot of downloads, treasures, and light balls that I had zero clue what they were. A lot of them were healer transmissions because I was on the healer path, not knowing what that meant at that time. And this was in October of 2008. On my birthday of the same year, December 26, 2008, at some time in the early morning, 1-ish, 2 o'clock-ish, I woke up and I was vibrating, physically vibrating, and I was on fire. My body felt very, very hot. And I had vibration running up my spine, down my arms, down all the way to my fingertips, and my head was vibrating. And it was freaking me out because it just happened out of nowhere for no reason whatsoever. There was nothing I did earlier that day, earlier that week that would have caused it. And I remember somehow finding my way from my bedroom to my bathroom, which was only 10 feet away, but it felt like a lifetime to get from here to there. Sitting down in the toilet, I didn't need to go to the bathroom, I just had to sit down, and putting my hands against the wall in front of me, and literally like I was vibrating, almost like if any of you have ever had a head rush, you know, like when you're a kid and you hold your breath too long or you smoke too much dope or something like that. It was head rush, right? When you get ready to fall over and you're barely holding on. Well, it felt like that for about 15 minutes. That was my Kundalini awakening. That was my birthday gift. Heaven decided to play a joke on me and give it to me on my birthday. So that was when my Kundalini opened up. No, I didn't know what had happened. So that's an example for you to work with. If you've already had something like that, congratulations. If you haven't, don't freak out. It's probably a good thing. And what does it signify? It signifies that you now have a lot more heaven and earth life force energy flowing through you than you did the day before, because in essence, it means you've cleared a lot of blockage. So, questions on the Snow Mountain Kundalini area before we go into the practices?
Is there any history or reason behind the name Snow Mountain area?
I haven't heard any specific stories. Terry may have. He's been with Master Shabbat as long as I have. There's specificity in the practice we're going to do, which will help it make some sense as far as the practice. But as far as any stories associated with it, I don't know of any.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else have anything to share, or questions or interjections?
Paul, would
Yes.
you stress, please don't try to open the Kundalini?
Yeah, good point. You just do the practices. When and if it opens, great, congratulations. But don't go out of your way to force it. And you know, follow your own guidance. But I strongly recommend to do these practices versus other ones that you might find on the internet or YouTube or whatever. The premature opening of this area, premature meaning you didn't build your foundation properly and in a organized, structured manner. The premature opening of this area could cause significant damage to the mind. There are people who have went crazy because they didn't build a foundation, and the fire was too much. It shot up. They had too much negative information, Shin Chi Jing, in their mind, and it exacerbated the negative information and basically blew their fuses, and they were unable to operate in the physical world in a manner that was normal anymore. They would see things, they would hear things. They were viewed as crazy, basically, because they did not let the natural occurrence happen. Okay.
I have a question about that. So what would be an example of somebody doing it wrong or doing the wrong thing? You mean like you said, going online and finding other sources to do that, or just like if we just do our daily practices and things like that, that's not something that would make that happen, would it?
No. See, that's the thing about these practices is they're natural, they're balanced, they're designed to naturally build your foundation where you boost and boost and boost, and eventually it's like pouring water in a container. Eventually the water rises and rises and rises, and when it's ready, it does what it's supposed to do. That's building the foundation properly. The improper ways, which I don't know what they are, I know that they're out there, would just simply focus and just say, do this and do this and do this. And then it basically just, it's like, dropping a kettle on a massive 20-foot wide fire instead of slowly heating up the kettle little by little by little. And it creates problems.
So using the Tao hands methods then are safe and sound, and just, if we follow what we're taught, then everything is fine.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, good.
Because we're building a light body.
Yeah.
All of the practices, adding jindans to the area, all of this builds the light body.
Okay, that's exciting.
It is, isn't it? So I can share with you that the jindans, the light balls for the lower dantian, the light balls for the Kundalini, the light balls for the message center, the light balls for the third eye, they will save you hundreds and hundreds of lifetimes of practice. Hundreds, not kidding, hundreds of lifetimes of practice. You've heard me say the story before, and I'll give you the shortened version of it. Master Sha went to one of the greatest Tao masters in all of China, who has the biggest dawn because he worked the hardest to gather the light to build his light body. And he could see with his third eye, his dawn was not that big. He had worked 60, 70 years and it wasn't all that big. Master Sha, one light ball transmission and your light ball is as big as this master that practiced for 70 years. Now what happens when somebody dies, right? When they die, they have to start all over. Their light ball is still with them, so to speak, but it's getting dissipated until the person wakes up. So if it takes a person 50 years to wake up enough to get back on their spiritual path, how much of that light ball dissipated over that 50 years? So when we receive these heavenly light balls, these are permanent light balls that stay with our soul forever. They don't diminish in their power. They always come in at a 20% solidity, at a 20% power. And any practice with them assists us to grow our light body. So go ahead.
So in a future lifetime, we wouldn't have to work as hard as we would normally have because we have those downloads?
That's 100% correct. Yeah. And not only would we not have to work as hard, because we have 1 to 200 light balls, however many we have, what do you think they're doing collectively? They're creating overall a collective one ball, because that's what full enlightenment is when you become 100% light. So each time you receive a transmission, each time you receive a jindan of any kind, doesn't matter if it's for a liver or for the brain, it doesn't matter. They all collectively create your light body, which means you accelerate your enlightenment path dramatically. Because every time your light ball comes in, it goes into the space. Well, what was in that space that it went into? Negative information. That's what was in that space. So now that negative information flies out, it can't stay in a space with that kind of light and frequency. And so these light balls start clearing out lots of this unnecessary negative Shen Qi Jing. Well, what's the purpose of that negative Shen Qi Jing? Its purpose is to remind us of our mistakes. Well, if they're blown out, then we don't have to learn those lessons. If we don't have to learn those lessons, then our time coming back again and again is dramatically shortened. So each time we receive a light ball, not only are you moving towards enlightenment, you are shortening your returns. you are increasing the opportunity to come back in and actually get on your path right away. I was blessed. I came back in at the age of 18. I was already looking very carefully. This is my path. I knew it at the age of 18. There's not a lot of people that happens to. The newer kids nowadays, they come in, you know, satellite ready. But, you know, for those of us around my age, we had to wait till we were 40 or 50 before we woke up. So, you know, when we receive these light balls, it will dramatically enhance every aspect. Another thing that saves your life and helps life be a whole lot easier is when our channels are open. Well, guess what? We actually make better choices. Why? Because we're following our soul's guidance and heaven's guidance. If we make better choices, do we live healthier? Yes. Do we live longer? Yes. Do we have a happier, healthier life? Of course. And we're going to be more aligned to our soul, which will also shorten the number of times we come back. So open spiritual channels and everything that we're doing in these total of three courses, they have so many positive side effects that the open spiritual channels become just a wonderful thing. But technically, what are we really doing? We're clearing the spaces, we're bringing in light and light balls, and we're shortening the suffering in so many ways, Very, very powerful. Well, probably one of the least understood of all of the things is the light body and the chakras and energy centers and why it's so important to clear the past. I tell you, if at all possible, save your monies, get these light balls as much as you can and as soon as you can. It'll just make your life a whole lot happier. Okay, let's move into some practices. Are there any other questions? Okay, so what are the practices? Let's go ahead and pull up this. So last week we talked about the 4-power technique. We're going to go over this again because one of the powers changes. So the body power, near hand, far hand, or yin yang palm, we're going to use yin yang palm position, and we're going to use it behind our back like you see in the images here. So what is yin yang palm? Left hand out, gripping that thumb with about 80% power, and then rolling the one palm over the other. Now, in the first week, we put that in front of our lower abdomen where our knuckle rested in our belly button. Now we're going to put it behind our back. Where do we place it at? Well, where's our Kundalini? It's 2/3 of the way back, about 2.5 inches down. Okay, so where do I put my hands when I'm doing this? They're pretty relaxed. My shoulders are relaxed. I'm not bringing my hands up where I have to keep my shoulders stiff. I'm letting it relax to where my knuckle is about the Mingmen acupuncture point. My knuckle is about the Mingmen acupuncture point. I'm not forcing my knuckle into the Mingmen acupuncture point. For those that are not sure, where is the Mingmen acupuncture point? Directly back from the belly button at that dip in your back. So my knuckle is not pushed into it, but it is approximately there. And then I let my hands naturally roll down. And I've got them gently pushed up against my back. But it's all gentle. My shoulders are relaxed. Everything's relaxed. This is the body power. Okay. For the sound power, what are we going to chant? Well, we're going to chant Jo, and we're also going to chant other mantra, and I will fluctuate through them as we go. So the sound power will be similar to what you did in the first practice. Why do we use the same sound power? It's a different area, right? Well, we use it because the sound Jo, which is the number 9, vibrates the entire lower abdomen. And that's our intention. So we can chant Jo or light or divine light. We can chant boost my Kundalini or boost my snow mountain. The sound power is about carrying a frequency and vibration. Mind power. So this is new. So we are going to visualize a snow-covered mountain in the Kundalini area. This is a nice image of Mount Fuji. And so you can ask the soul of Mount Fuji to come sit in your Kundalini snow mountain area. You can visualize it there, that's fine. And so again, where's it at? Go back 2/3 of the way from your belly button, drop down to 1/2 inch. Your hands should be in front of your snow mountain area. And that fist-sized energy center, I want you to see a snow-covered mountain with a lake at the bottom of it. You see the lake at the bottom of this one? I want you to visualize a lake at the bottom. Go ahead and close your eyes. I want you to see that, a snow-covered mountain with a lake at the bottom of it. And I'm going to walk you through, as I lead you into this practice, what we're going to do with this snow mountain area. For the soul power, you can relax your hands for a minute as we continue with the soul power. Repeat after me. Dear the soul of my snow mountain area, my Kundalini area, and my Ming Men acupuncture point, I love you, honor you, appreciate you. You have the power to heal yourself. You have the power to release negative information and all blockages from your areas. You have the power to gain energy, stamina, vitality, immunity. You have the power to boost my kidneys, spinal cord, brain, and third eye. Do a good job. Continue to repeat. Dear the divine, my beloved creator. Dear all the beloved beings of love and light, including all the angels, archangels, lamas, sifus, gurus, saints, Buddhas, bodhisattvas. You can now list specific beings of love and light that you wish to come forth. I love you. Give them love. I love you, love you, love you, love you, love you. I ask humbly from my heart, could you please bless this practice for my Snow Mountain Kundalini area? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Continue to repeat. Dear all my downloads, light balls, treasures, and transmissions. Dear my healer transmissions, I love you. I appreciate you. Could you please turn on? As appropriate, could you please boost, bless, and heal my Snow Mountain Kundalini area? I thank you. Thank you, thank you. So now place your hands in the yin yang palm position as was just taught you at the base of your back. Keep your eyes closed. Visualize in the Snow Mountain area, inside your body, in front of your palms that you're now gripping. Visualize a snow-covered mountain. And at the base of the mountain is a lake. And all around the snow-covered mountain is some forest and trees, quite beautiful. And you are there at the snow-covered mountain and you see such a bright sun shining, very bright, hot, so hot on this snow-covered mountain. And it's just getting hotter and hotter. The sun is not blocked by the clouds at all. It's just baking the airwaves and the snow starts to melt. And you just notice just how, my goodness, it's just so warm out here. And you can feel the snow-covered mountain melting. You see the snow melting underneath the intense heat of the sun shining down on the mountain. And the water starts to run and the steam starts to rise as the very warm, bright sun shines. And this bright sun is just relentless as the snow starts to evaporate and the steam rises and the streams start to run down to the lake. And the water on top of the lake starts to create steam. Like when the air temperature is cooler than the water temperature, and the steam starts to rise from the snow and from the lake. And as it gets hotter and hotter, the steam starts to rise from the snow and the lake. Watch the steam rising. It's starting to become more and more thick. Clouds are starting to form. And these clouds above the lake, the steam is so thick, you start to look across the lake and it's hard to see the other side. The steam is so thick and the sun is so hot and is just radiating hotter and hotter and hotter, and the snow is melting and the steam is rising and rising, and the steam starts to rise and it goes up to the kidneys. The steam starts to go up through the holes in the spinal cord, through the spinal cord, into the kidneys. The steam is going through the spinal cord into the kidneys, and the kidneys have billions of cells, and all of the cells in the kidneys are opening up, breathing in the steam. The hot sun is baking the snow. The steam is rising up through the spinal cord and the kidneys are getting more and more full. Each cell in the kidneys, it's like they're getting plump and happy, and they're getting filled with the water from the steam, plumping and making happy the kidneys. See your kidneys becoming more and more full of the steam as it continues to rise, and different areas in the dormant aspects of the kidneys becoming happier and healthier and rejuvenated and regenerated. Both of your kidneys receiving equal amounts of steam that had been coming up from the lake, up through the spinal cord, up into both kidneys, becoming equally filled with the steam. And now the steam within the kidneys is rising up, and it rises up and it starts to fill in the spine. And as it starts to fill in the spine, it goes through each and every muscle, ligament, joint, between each and every vertebrae. The steam is just swirling through each and every crack and crevice. Nothing is left unblessed by this sacred steam, and the sun is baking on the snow mountain area. So hot, the steam is broiling off the lake. So much steam just coming up and up and up through each and every vertebrae of the spine, clearing blockages, allowing the light, allowing the messages to go through the spine. The Mingmen acupuncture point is opening more. The spine is opening more, and the light and the steam keep going up the spine. See it as it goes up the spine. And as it continues to clear blockages up the spine, relax your shoulders. Do not be stiff. Allow the steam to come to the top of the spine. See the steam filling your kidneys. They're so full, they can't hold anymore. They're just leaving, going up to the Mingmen acupuncture point, clearing the blockages in the spinal cord and the spine. And now it's up the back of the neck, going into the back of the neck, up through each and every one of the cervical vertebrae, clearing blockages in the cervical vertebrae, clearing blockages in the muscles, ligaments, joints, tendons, going through the invisible holes in the spinal cord. Your whole neck is feeling much more relaxed, very happy, relaxed, Warm, feel the warmth of your entire spine. My goodness, it's so hot. The sun is beating down on the snow mountain. The lake is so much steam coming up from the lake, feeding and nourishing. The steam just keeps rising up through the neck, up into the brain. Billions and trillions of cells. Oh, they're so thirsty. They're so thirsty to receive the frequency, the healing vibration of the Kundalini Snow Mountain steam as it comes into the back of the bottom of the brain in each of the chambers, left and right hemispheres, corpus callosum, all of the aspects of the brain start to breathe in. See the trillions of cells in the back of the brain breathing in the steam. It takes a little while because there's trillions of cells breathing in the steam. See, so much steam. My goodness, that sun is so hot. So much steam coming off the lake. It's just feeding and nourishing your brain, feeding and nourishing each and every cell in your brain. Happier and plumper, happier and plumper, feeding and nourishing in between the brain, in between the hemispheres, feeding and nourishing each and every of the energetic connections. They are now plump and happy. The electrical connections from cell to cell become invigorated with the Kundalini, Snow Mountain frequency and vibration, each and every cell firing. Cell firing everywhere, and all of the cells plumper, happier, healthier. See the steam permeating every crack and crevice of the brain, feeding and nourishing. And as you visualize this, let us enhance the Kundalini Snow Mountain, bringing your attention back to the Snow Mountain area, witnessing the steam through this entire area of the kidneys, of the mingmen, of the spine, of the brain, of the third eye. Witness it from your lower abdomen as we chant, Jo, 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 Jo. Jo, 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 Jo. See the steam. Jo, 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 Jo. Hotter sun. Jo, 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 Jo. Brighter, brighter. Jo, 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 Jo. Jo, 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 Jo. Brighter, 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 brighter. Jo, 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 Jo. More steam. Jo, 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 Jo. Jojo, 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 Jo, Jojo, 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 Jo, Jojo, 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 Jo. Your brain is getting more full, more plump. Your third eye is receiving the light, the frequency of the steam is opening, feeding, nourishing. It's like giving a battery new life. Light, 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 light. See the light shining on the snow mountain. Light, 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 brighter, 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 hotter, hotter. See the light shining down, brighter, brighter, hotter, hotter. Snow is melting, steam, steam, brighter, brighter. Jojo, 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 Jo, Jojo, 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 Jo, Jojo, 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 Jo. Brighter, brighter, hotter, hotter. Jojo, 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 Jo. More steam, brighter, brighter. Jojo, 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 Jo. Hotter, hotter. Jojo, 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 Jo. Jojo, 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 Jo. Light, 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 light. Brighter, brighter. Sun is hotter. 150 degrees. Brighter, brighter. Snow is melting. Steam is rising. Jojo, 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 Jo. Jojo, 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 Jo. Jojo, 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 Jo. Build your Kundalini. See that light ball. Jojo, 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 Jo. Jojo, 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 Jo. Brighter, 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 brighter. And in the center of the lake is this huge golden solid light ball rising up from the center of the lake, gathering the light. Jojo, 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 Jo, Jojo, 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 Jo. Brighter, 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 brighter. See this light ball floating like a golden orb, gathering the light. Heaven is blessing you. Your Kundalini is blessing you. All your downloads and treasures gathering the light. Jojo, 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 Jo, brighter, brighter, hotter, hotter. Jojo, 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 Jo, 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 light, 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 light. Chant silently, light, 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 light. Gather the light, 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 light. And as you chant silently, I will turn on my Kundalini transmissions and ask them to bless you. Continue to chant silently. Dear my Kundalini treasures and transmissions, all that I have received from my Snow Mountain Kundalini, please turn on. Please subdivide your soul. Go to each of the students watching this live or on recording. Bless their Kundalini Snow Mountain area as appropriate. Start. Let us continue. Light, 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 silently. Light, 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 brighter, brighter, light, 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 light. Condense the light, condense the light. See that light ball gathering, pulling in the light from heaven, pulling in the light from Jesus, Mother Mary, Buddhas. All the angels are blessing you. Gather the light. Light, 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 light. Jo, 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 jo. Brighter, brighter, hotter, hotter. Light, 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 light. Steam is rising. Steam is rising. Kidneys are full, going up the spinal cord. Whole spinal cord, spinal column full, so much steam, back of the neck full, so much steam. Brain is plump and happy. Third eye so bright and happy. Light, 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 light. Jo, 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 jo. Light, 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 light. Jo, 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 jo. Light, 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 silent light, 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 light. See the light, light, light. Brighter light, hotter, 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 brighter, 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 so bright it's hard to see. Bright, 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 bright. Light, 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 light. Feel the heat. Feel the vibration in your brain, in the center of your crown. Feel the heat up your spine. This is the natural awakening of your Kundalini. Boosting the foundation, feeding and nourishing. Light, 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 light. Jo, 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 jo. Jo 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 jo来来来来来来来来来来来来来来来来来来来来来来来来来来来来来 来 brighter brighter hotter hotter 来 focus focus 来 jo 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 see the light hotter hotter steam is rising jo 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 brain is nourished third eye nourished kidneys nourished jo 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 everything is nourished jo 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 ha ha. Pay attention to your body. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay. Well, I don't know how anybody could sleep through that. The line is open to share.
This is Jenny.
Hi, Jenny.
I expected to feel more probably, but one thing that kept happening was I would feel the warmth, but I couldn't hold the warmth. I'm sure with practice I'll be able to do that. But what I did feel was this tingling in my head. Where I felt it the most was in my head, and it felt good. And it was a little bit uncomfortable holding my hands behind my back in that position because I have short limbs, I have short arms, but I really did enjoy the practice, and it was really easy to follow, to keep up with it. I feel really good though, and I feel relaxed. I didn't fall asleep, and a lot of times I do zone out, but I liked it. And I wondered, is it okay if we record what you did and use it back?
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Jenny. Everything is recorded. And for example, we just put in the chat the recording links. So that's the reason for them. So you can always go back and do practice with this practice.
Oh, good, good. I really liked it. It was really different. I hadn't done a practice like that before, and it was really enjoyable. And I felt like you really put your emotions in it too, and I could feel that. So I liked it.
Great, thank you for sharing. And for those that it is difficult to put your hands behind your back, then you would naturally keep, if you can put one hand back there, great. But if not, then just put both hands in the same position in the front as we did in the lower Dantian practice, but put all your mind and intention where we were practicing at. Great sharing. Anybody else wish to share what their experience was like with this practice?
I'm feeling great after that practice. It felt like I could feel a lot of heat building up around the Mingmen area, and kind of surprised me that I began to feel a kind of energetic connection between the area we were focused on and the third eye area. It seemed to be a natural kind of bridge there. So that was pretty cool and interesting, and I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, and Jenny noticed some vibration in her head. You're noticing some sensations as well. This is a good sign. This is telling you that the teachings are validated through your five senses, and as you continue to practice, this is what opens your channels more and more and more. Great sharing. Thank you, Karen.
Thank you.
Anita?
I want to share that the room got really hot, and I even got up to sleep. It felt hot. And then I feel plump inside and soggy. I feel great and very relaxed.
Great.
I feel soggy.
Soggy. Okay, Amy?
I really have trouble. I mean, I feel the energy move, but like as far as feeling where my Kundalini is, I feel my lower Dantian, but it feels like it's just spine behind there. So I really have trouble knowing where the area is. I've struggled with this for a long time, and I keep thinking at some point I'll just feel definitely where it's at, but I really don't. I mean, I feel energy, but
okay, so here's how you do it. Okay, right here, just drop your hand.
Okay.
Right, it's right there in front of where your hands drop.
Okay.
Now you don't push down, it's just a natural drop.
Okay.
And it's right inside.
Okay, I've been too high, that's what it is. And that's probably why I was so uncomfortable trying to hold my arms up there. Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Okay.
I am 1,000 times more relaxed now from it. And from what was going on for the past like 2 weeks. And I forgot about the lower Dantian practice from last week, so I didn't finish the video. But the teacher from the other Open Spiritual Channels class that I was in the Kundalini practice is, I don't know, it makes us super warm and icy hotty pretty quickly. And the lower Dantian practices are a lot more difficult for me. But if this calms me down more, what is the benefit? Like, I don't know which one I should be focusing on since you were talking about lower Dantian for what we've been talking about.
Well, this week, just focus on the Kundalini.
Okay. Thanks.
It's important to go back and review the lower Dantian. Maybe do, practice if you can, do them. But if your time is limited, focus on the Kundalini. Great. Any other sharing?
Yes.
Felix?
The practice is very powerful. Thank you so much, Master Paul. You really inspired me, and you really teach me a way that I know this way, but I never practiced it in this life, and it really reconnected me to a very, very, very strong foundation. I have to practice this a lot. I have a question. The sun was like so big that the mountain was getting more and more small, and the sun was like, at some point it was bigger than my body, and I was just trying to melt in it, just feel the light. At some point in my visualization, there were literally no more water. There were literally no more water in the mountain, no more water in the lake. And it might be an imbalance of my Ming Meng water, Ming Meng fire, or just my elements, or there might be like more salt to put on the pancakes, like the practice, something else to add to rejuvenate the water element.
But just visualize.
Yes.
Because Mother Earth is at your feet, so visualize she forms a natural spring, and it comes up and it keeps refilling. So if you run out of water, just have Mother Earth give you a natural spring.
Okay, I will. Thank you. Thank you. It's extremely powerful. Yeah, we have to really practice this. I do different grounding exercise those days, but there is really a different nourishment, which is I don't know, I think it's Amy that notified it. It's very peaceful. It might not be Amy, but anyway, someone notified it, and thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Master Shah. Thank you, Evan. Thank you, Master Paul.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Felix.
Thank you, Paul. I started yawning, and then I started tearing, and then I started steaming, and then I took my shirt off, and I'm still steaming and vibrating. Thank you.
I too would like to share. It was a really fun practice, really fun. When we first started, my between my eyebrows, I felt like this tingly sensation. I was like, oh my gosh, I've just been afraid of opening my third eye. I feel like I intentionally just shut it down because I'm not ready to see the soul world yet. But I know heaven's timing. So, but yes, my body just felt really warm. I have never felt anything like that before. My body was just on fire. Lots of sweat. Like I started sweating and yawning and tearing. So it was a really good practice, and I can't wait to do this again. It's really fun. Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, you're welcome. These are Master Shah practices, I had not seen them before. Very, very, very powerful practices, and they're building your foundation. So when we cover third eye in 2 weeks, go more into what not to fear and why not to fear it. But there are people that have those fears, and it may be some negative information from the past, where we might have seen something and then it happened, and so then we don't want to have that experience again. Any number of reasons where we could have some negative information that needs to be released. Okay. Anybody else wish to share at this time?
Yeah, hi, Master Paul.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, it was a good practice. I had to block out some twins doing some things next to me, but anyways, they eventually left the room, so I was able to concentrate more. And I got a lot of yawning in the beginning, and then later on, I just constantly, my eyes were just tearing nonstop. And at one point, it's kind of like how you explained it with your experience, like almost that kind of lightheaded, almost passed out kind of experience, and then just felt very light and saw lots of light in my third eye, I guess, in this area. My eyes are closed, but it was all bright, you know. So that was my experience.
Great sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Anybody else? It's up to you. Certainly don't have to, but if you wish to, now's the time.
I have a question. Maybe I could ask at the end, Master Paul, right? It's a question, it's not a...
Is it related to this, Felix?
Yes, it's related to the practice.
Go ahead,
I think it could be good if we could communicate with everyone in this formation. So maybe we can like practice the replays together or something like this, or schedule to practice it together, like every day or every 2 days, and that's probably something to discuss at the end.
Yeah. So as I mentioned in the beginning, there is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning and evening practices, and the Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning and evening practices are geared towards the wellness program. They're a part of the wellness program. And what we're doing is we're incorporating aspects of these practices in those. So Kundalini practices, Snow Mountain practices, message center practices, and so forth. And that's how you can be part of the group. Now the reason why it was condensed within the wellness program is because there simply is not a lot of time to be making other practices when we already have some in place. So we condensed it. And so like this program cost $95. And if you wanted to add those practices and the Tao calligraphy healing field, then it was $100 more. So a lot of the students have chosen to combine them so that they can make sure they have the group practices in the field, which is what's going to enhance the field that much more. Additionally, and separately, the next course is an 8-week intermediate course, which is related to the chakras and the Shen Qi Jing channel, which are very pertinent to open your channels as well. And we are going to bring online on the weekends for anybody that is in that course and beyond. So this course, they won't necessarily be doing it, but in that course and beyond, we're going to be doing practices, and we're going to be doing soul communication. We're going to start soul communication in those practice sessions. Those will probably be on the weekends. And I don't know, probably maybe 90 minutes every week, something like that. We'll do some of these foundational practices, and then we're going to do soul communication. And so those will be made available as part of the practices for those who are attending the second and third levels. But as far as the first level, that's steered and geared towards the wellness program practice sessions. So it's in place. Okay, great. So I don't have time to complete it today, but I want to give you the seed of thought for you. I spoke about the light ball transmissions for these foundational energy centers. There is golden light ball and golden liquid spring transmissions for the lower Dantian, for the Snow Mountain Kundalini. There is golden light ball, golden liquid springs for the message center. There's a golden light ball and golden liquid spring for the third eye. And there's one for the Zhu Chao, the intelligence center. So there's 5 golden light ball and golden liquid spring transmissions available. The honor fee is 125 individually, 120 individually. If somebody were to get all 5, then instead of, I believe it's 620 is what that comes up to, or 600, it's 500. So it's, you get $20 off on each. So instead of 600, if you got them individually, it would be 500 and you get all 5. You can get them whenever you want. We're going to be repeating this course again and again and again. Each month we'll repeat the course. But the sooner you can get them, the faster your channels will open and the faster your light body will form. Okay? If you're not sure which ones to get, or you can only get 1 or 2, then just email me, check with me, and I can check guidance as to what your priorities are, because typically there will be a priority that your soul and your body needs, not only for opening your spiritual channels, but it could be for health issues as well. You might say, I would open my third eye, but the guidance might be that you need to, get a message center first. So the guidance might need that you need to have lower foundation first. So it is important to follow the guidance and get these in a manner that is of value to you for your greatest benefit. So they're 120 each. When you're ready, let us know. Happy to distribute them to you. I'll put that information in the emails when we send out the reminder for the recordings, and you can register for them. And then starting next week, I'll start transmitting those for anybody that wants to receive them. Okay. Are there any other thoughts, questions, or comments?
Yeah, I'm very grateful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks. Greg, did you enjoy that? Might have knocked Greg out. He's got to walk across the room to hit the...
Okay, I just was working on unmuting, Paul. That was fabulous. That was beautifully done. Your guidance with images and bringing us through pacing was phenomenal. I had delightful time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I got to check out my spinal cord and look and see where I had little nicks and dings that I've been aware of. And it was just a fabulous exercise. By the time we finished, I had a full head of sweat in that, knowing that things had been definitely transforming and transmuting. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay. I was thinking of you when I was speaking about all the different body parts. Oh, Greg will like this.
I do. I love my plump little kidneys.
Yeah. Thank you, Greg. Okay, so I've already called back on my healer transmissions that I sent earlier. But when you watch the video again, you can receive the same power. It's one of the things about these recordings on video, people don't understand the same power is within. So yes, do watch them.
I do that. It's wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
So Michaela, you have recording password as OSC. I think it's OSC1.
It is OSC1.
Okay, thank you.
My apologies for posting the wrong link. OSC1.
Okay. So if everybody needs to grab the recording link and the password, copy paste it, let me know. I'll stay open for another moment here. And but other than that, we're moving on next to the Tao Calligraphy Healing Field Practice session, where we will probably do lower foundation practice. Okay, and that's going to start in about 9 minutes. I might have to go add a little more water because I've let a little steam off. All right. Love you, love you, love you. We thank all layers of heaven, divine masters. We thank our beloved spiritual teacher, Master Sha. We thank all the beloved beings of love and light for their unconditional service. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you, love you, love you.
Bye-bye.
Wrong song. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Hello, Monica.
Bye. Love you.
Te amo, papá.